Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld, and today I'm bringing you a new Inmate of Hell video on Yubel from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And since we're talking about Yubel, a monster card, I think it's only proper that we start this video off with opening her pack, Phantom Nightmare. Although, honestly, look, considering how this pack is with Yubel and all that, I feel like it would make more sense to call it Nightmarish Love or Phantom Love or something like that, since that fits Yubel way more than Nightmare. Although, luckily she did give Jaden a Nightmare, so I guess it makes sense. But anyways, let's open it back before we talk about her. Proper slap as Larry in the hold us. And let's see if we can get a Yubel Wells monster. Which I really doubt we'll get it, but it'll be kind of nice if we do. Alright, so we start this off with Royal Rhino with the side for dice. Goblin Biker Boomac, I already have 4 of them. Eastrange Big Bang. Dark Guardian. And Hero of Asher City. Yep, so no Yubel, unfortunately. Then we also have Junk Jungle, Tricorn, the categories concern, XYZ Force, and Free-Eyed Ghost. So, unfortunately, no Yubel card from this pack, but that's why opening Yu-Gi-Oh! Packs is so fucking painful. So, yeah, anyways, with the pack out of the way, let's talk about Yubel. And I'll just start with the main problem with Yubel, and that is that she's one of those villains that appeared in a, I don't want to say controversial because I think it's more disliked, but okay, it's one of those antagonists that appears in an arc that is not really liked, and even if they themselves are excellent characters and excellently written, they they suffer from appearing in a pretty lackadaisical arc. And that's just what I would say is up with Yubel. She's very much the gentle of Yu-Gi-Oh! Although I guess gentle would be the Yubel of MHA, but whatever, details. But anyways, yeah, I would say Yubel is a character who suffers greatly from appearing in an arc like that, which is probably the reason why she's not really talked much about when it comes to like Yu-Gi-Oh! Iconic villains. You know, the Pegasuses, the Maregs, the Dark Signers, I guess the Baryons aren't that famous. Well, okay, Yu-Gi-Oh! Villains are kind of all over the place. Most of them are either bad or some of them are awesome, but regardless, I would definitely say Yubel is one of the awesome villains, despite the controversial Season 3. But anyways, let's start talking about Yubel's character in Yu-Gi-Oh! And we'll start off with her design, which is, well, we start her off with the backstory, and then we'll go into design, and continue talking about her throughout the story. So Yubel actually, his backstory is kind of an interesting one, since in case you forgot or are unaware of, in the original Yu-Gi-Oh, the dual monster spirits and all that being alive and active is more of a main thing. Like, they are there's like a demon world or different worlds. I think it was like 12, but in the main universe, it's essentially just their kind of cards and from ancient history and all that. And Yubel is, I think, the first time when we actually see the origin of a monster card or a card that becomes a Yu-Gi-Oh card in their universe. With Yubel at first being some random servant boy, maybe some child of a noble or something, but regardless, she's a child that the king, which is a father of Jaden's ancestor, is talking to him and asking him that talking about the main like gentle darkness and light of destruction, all that type of stuff. And he says that because Jaden is then Ansa is also a child, he'll need protection. He asks if this boy would be that protection that Jaden requires or the Supreme King requires until he can grow into being the king that he's required to. Which this kid, being very loyal to to the Supreme King, agrees to and is going for a procedure to have the power that is required to keep the Supreme King safe. And so we get like I mean, it's kind of, the process itself is kind of very vague. I don't know if it in the. I don't think. Yeah, I've seen the Japanese version. There's not that much more gruesome, but accentuates like the generic human experimentation, which Jaden does. Well, the Supreme King does find about and just try to prevent it, but is unsuccessful. Maybe the process is already too far gone to stop, or maybe someone just grabbed them and said, "No, this is necessary for the future," and all that type of stuff. But regardless, the process was successful, and Yubel is formed in her all her weird half demon, half dragon, half male, half female glory. But anyways, after the procedure, Jaden and Yubel have a moment where they are like, well, Supreme King and Yubel have a moment together where they are saying how Supreme King will still love Yubel, not even if anyone else despises her, because the thing is the form is kind of misshapen, and the king referred to it as a hideous form, but everyone else, we all just want to call it like the cool ass form. So yeah. But anyways, that's how Yubel was created. She was a human that got by Yu-Gi-Oh! Ancient magic, dark magic thing was turned into a demonic dragon hybrid creature. Now, I'm not entirely certain it was ever explained what happened afterwards. Since in the anime, I think they just pretty. I haven't seen season 4, so because that's where Yubel is no longer antagonist. At that point, she's just sort of like the pharaoh to Jaden's Yugi. But regardless, anyways, after that point she basically dies, or maybe joins the other dual spirits, or whatever sends all those dual spirits away until Pegasus gets their ancient ruins, or finds them in their ruins somewhere and makes a cart. So I guess he discovered Yubel, which now that I think about it, did Pegasus learn about the Supreme King as well? Because because okay, do not have an issue with Pegasus learning of Yubel and making a card of her, because I mean from what we've seen and from the Rainbow Dragon, it seems like he just finds like ruins of these creatures and then like designs cards according to what though they vaguely look like. So seeing this, I would imagine that he'll probably just discover some ruins from the kingdom that Supreme King was in, saw the little spirit there and was like, oh, this is probably the creature that we was using. So I could get where he got that, but anyways, he got made that card, and after he made Yubel, he I guess saw her in a pack somewhere or whatever, however they sent these cards around. And she eventually came to Jaden, who has a very striking resemblance to the Supreme King and all that. So she basically took on her role as just Jaden's guardian, as the same way she was with Supreme King. Since I imagine it's like one of those psychic connection things, like how Libe knew Asta was Lishita's son, so he could probably it's probably like one of those logic where she could figure out that Jaden was the Supreme King's descendant. So she took on her role. The issue with is Yubel, however, is that she was kind of overprotective of Jaden. So whenever someone beat him in a Yu-Gi-Oh duel, because he was a child, he wouldn't really have an easy time winning duels against fucking adults. So, or whenever they insulted him or made fun of him or say, "Oh, you're just talking ridiculous about how with your connection with Yubel and all that," so she decided to take vengeance because he was a lot more powerful. I imagine being a human, it got turned into a very powerful Yu-Gi-Oh card, powerful in the classic Yu-Gi-Oh terms. You would probably have a lot more dark magics in your repertoire than majority of others. Yubel was able to use her magic abilities to, I guess, give them some kind of weird anime illnesses where you don't know what the hell's going on, you're just dying from it. So Jaden unfortunately had like a lot of babysitters that fell into hospital, and after some point he starts suspecting or think that Yubel was responsible for all this. Or I imagine he's just sensed Yubel after some points that she was like the one doing it. So he decided to put her to space alongside Neospatians because he won the content. So I guess they had so the cards that he made draw the Neospatians were being sent created and sent to space, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Jane was also requesting, I guess, to send Yubel to space as well. And she was sent to space with the rest, but unfortunately the two had different parts. So as classic anime goes, one part went to space and was covered with light of destruction, light of the gentle darkness, which was a new space, and then Yubel was sent where light of destruction was, and she was sent there. Now, since light of destruction, those spirits have some kind of connection to each other. I'm forgetting if that was how explained, but there's a connection. She was in that light of destruction and was being tortured for assuming for a very long time. And while she was being tortured there, she also was asking Jaden for help using the dream and the connection they had. Unfortunately, to Jaden and the parents, all they thought was probably that he's just being having nightmares or something from Yubel or something because he abandoned, left, threw away the card. So they just said, "All right, brain experimentation or something," and erased his memory of Yubel, which severed the link, leaving Yubel to no longer have the link with Jaden, and Jaden having no memory of it. Feels kind of more like a contrived way to explain why Jaden never mentioned her, because, you know, alright, because, you know, the whole Supreme King thing just kind of feels like they wanted Yugi, but without Yugi thing, so they just decided to, you know, start copying their own version, which, alright, to be fair, Jaden does kind of make sense, since, you know, we have ancient Egypt, but then you have medieval fantasy, but whatever. So, then after some time and losing her mind, let's be honest to ourselves, in the Light of Destruction, because afterwards she assumed that all this pain that she's receiving from Jaden was his love to her. So this is just Yubel loving Jaden, then showing his affection towards her, and she never figured out that he may have just had his memory erased. But anyways, after some time, she was able to regain enough strength to leave space and go back to Earth, which she did manage to survive, but only manifested her arm, which I guess, which actually let's make another one. What would have happened if Yubel would have just been able to just be regain most of her body? Would she have just like wandered around for looking for Jaden or something? I mean, I guess in that form she maybe have been one of the Shadow Riders or something. But I don't know, it's kind of funny to think that she was a hand during a good portion of the story until she fully grew her body back. But anyways, Viper, a new professor that was in season 3, found her in his like military research times, and she promised him to greet his son. Then the plot of season 3 happened, where Viper was taking the dual energy of other people to give her power, until Viper eventually lost, and she then did the classic villain thing about I'll give you what you want, by with a sick twist towards it. So there's actually a difference in the anime, because in the Japanese version she makes him see his son, like him saving his son. I think it's like the son got died in a traffic accident, but this time Viper's able to be aware of it, so he grabs his son so to prevent him from getting run over. But it's only his head, so he in that happiness he just starts to like walk. I'm guessing Yubel just has him walk off the duel arena and fall to his death. While in the anime, I think they just have her grab Viper's hand and destroying him, disintegrating him as she's opening a portal to a dual monster world. And then afterwards, but then while this is all happening, Adrian Gacko, who is another antagonist in GX season 3, they made a deal because she promised him everything he wanted. So he after the whole transportation, just like transport her that part that she had and took her into a library where it's unlikely for anyone to find her, to keep her there until she is able to fulfill her promise about, you know, getting her body and all her schemes. And then afterwards, she's a little bit quiet there, but eventually finds a spirit, aka Bonaparte Shepherd's son, who she figured could be very useful for her purposes, ability to use. So she attacks him while he and his friend are kind of going to a bathroom. So she slashes the girl, but takes his body, which he then allows him to do stuff. So we have him like setting out. Well, he didn't. He explains to Adrian Gacko that he's just using it for more purposes, so it'll be easier to work together with two of them being able to function instead of just him and her being reduced to an hand. So then she uses her magic to turn everyone into a dual zombie, or put this kind of curse that everyone who loses too much of their dual energy will become a zombie. And then she just kind of stays in the library for most of the time until she starts to announce her presence by reporting that if they want to get rid of the old dual zombie thing, they'll be able to say they'll be able to they have to beat her champions in a duel and they'll be saved, or stuff that will help her win. It's all a ploy just so they'll be distracted for a little bit while she goes get uh, everything ready. I believe it was to retrieve the Sacred Beast cards for her duel against Jaden in the midway point of the season. But anyways, she sets this up and she doesn't really like. That's the thing. She doesn't really keep it a mystery that she's not. I think Marcel was his name. Marcel. She even says that he's just a doll, just something I'm using it. I quite literally don't give a shit about it. So, anyways, she goes there. Um, Jaden, the girl, and Bonaparte wants to confront him, but wants to stop Yubel, but Yubel just outpowers them and goes to get the sacred beasts and retrieves them. Adriaco does try to stop her, but she uses the Exodia pieces to get him back on her side. So they just so she's able to get her goal. And then after they get the Rainbow Dragon, they it's time for the final battle. So they fight Marcel Yubel with Jaden. Then so we have Jaden versus Yubel, which she at first Jaden. They think they're gonna duel, but then Jesse shows up, which angers Yubel. Which I kind of get the idea that Yubel is really in love with Jaden. Wants to like when is first confirmed by Jaden, she's like, oh, Jaden, we'll be together soon. And then we have still like she wants to be remembered, but he doesn't remember her. It's not until I think after she takes her main form, her normal appearance, is where she truly shows how she looks like. And then she like throws away Marcel. She gets. I guess she doesn't kill him, which is something fun, which is kind of funny to think that she doesn't kill him, but kills everyone else who works for her. But it's probably like one of those things where it's like it's just a kid. What matter? I don't really need to kill him. Just hey, girl, take your boyfriend. But anyways, she shows the form, which she does manage to trigger some of Jaden's memory about like, oh wait, I think I know you Belle, right? So she's very happy, but also very jealous because Jess is there, and then they have like their epic duel, which is about to win. But fortunately for her, Jess is able to play his Rainbow Dragon and is able to overcome her and send everyone back into their regular world while he remains. And while everyone's being sent away, it's just Jess and Yubel. Yubel takes over his body and is now able to use them and is now then I guess we're connecting our monster worlds to make one realm for them for Jen when he comes back to travel to, and creates like this I guess she creates like a dark world army to break Jaden and to basically do the pain that he did to her, but in a romantic way. So then, now during this portion of the story, she's kind of not there, not really present. Like you can tell, all this is her scheming, like this dark world attacking monsters, Jaden's friends all falling one after another. All that is part of her, and we even do see her very brief. Well, her controlling Jesse's body very briefly, but it's just kind of she's kind of just there. But we don't really have her present until it's time for Zane to die. Basically, where she shows up and duels Zane, and Zane does very well. Like she's not really, I don't want to say she's like losing, but it's very clearly like in a bad. Well, Zane is putting up a fight against her, so they have a very epic duel for Zane, like a very nice final tribute to Zane. But anyways, Yubel ends up winning the duel and is kind of surprised with how high it was for her to win. So when she says, "Oh, meet me here" and all that, or "Meet me when you're ready," She then goes to recover because she got exhausted, and then she's immediately confronted by Adrian Gecko. And then Adrian's like, "Oh, I'm canceling our friendship because I don't have Exodia, so I'll be able to beat you and all that and become the true king and be able to succeed and all that." So we have Adrian versus Yubel, probably to get us some bit more information about Yubel because like again, Yubel is not very present in all of this story. So she's in the background, but she doesn't really doing a lot of like. I would say in 2/3, she's not really present. So it's only like the final battles where she's actually present. So we have a battle with her, which is kind of like a nice little, which I do like the fight because it's like Yubel just kind of mocking King Adrian a lot of times, but because she's like, dude, I literally gave you the Exodia card. Do you really think I would not be prepared? Do you really think I would not have built a deck made specifically to counter Exodia strategies? And obviously she made, so she has a very fun time dueling and kind of also wants to tease him to get him to his darkness. But she for the duel, she's also like, "Oh yes, you king, thank you, king, for allowing me to draw." So, anyways, she kind of, but the thing is, during this, well, she's kind of mocking Adrian throughout the entire fight, well, throughout the entire duel. She's actually kind of not being, actually kind of getting kind of annoyed with Adrian because she's trying to get Adrian to reveal his darkness, but he doesn't have his darkness. It's not until she realizes, wait a minute, that woman I've been constantly mocking you, that you abandoned her for the sake of your world. She still has her soul present and still has a darkness that I can use. So she's able to use that darkness from his love against him, so she's able to beat him by using her cards to destroy him, which is kind of funny enough. It's kind of showing how Fortune started to see how she was planning on beating Jaden. But anyways, she defeats Adrian and is able to retrieve the darkness from her. As then she goes into a duel against Jaden, and Jaden is able to overcome his speed that he got because of him being a supreme king. And they have the duel with Injustice body. So, and in that duel, Yubel, I think it's like one of those things where Jaden does technically. No, wait, I think. Oh, it's like I think one of those tie types of duels, but it's more of like a plot progression type of duel. Because while the fight is kind of inconclusive, Yubel gets what she needs. She gets the super polymerization that she requires to start her ultimate plan, and just leaves Jesse there and goes there. If Jen wants to follow her, he can because soon her goal of fusing all the 12 worlds together is gonna come into play. As then Jaden goes to confront her and starts dueling her again. And throughout this duel, throughout the entire time, you was like, "Oh, I hope you loved all the fans I tortured for you. I hope you appreciated that the same way how you tortured me." Because again, Yubel has a very masochistic view on love and all that. As then, and for this, Jen is very pissed off and angry, which does make Yubel's juices flowing. But then, throughout the more animal portion of it, she's saying like, you're just not replicating my feelings for you. How awful of you, Jaden. No, I just want to legitimately punish you, not the torture type of, not the fetish type of punishing you, but just basically punish you for being such a horrible boyfriend. So yeah, Jaden then fights it, but then at the end, honestly, kind of randomly in the anime, when this is done, it's kind of random because he gets like the scene that was mentioned at the beginning with him with Supreme King be like, "I will always love you, Bell," kind of moment, and then he kind of realizes what's going on here, so he's like, "Oh, I see what's going on here. All right, let's just. I think I have a strategy to beat you." As then Jaden. Oh, okay, so throughout the duel, in the final duel where against Yubel, Jaden there's this continuous spell card that he's using. I think it's a spell chronicle, although I think the anime has a different effect. In fact, no, I don't think it has the same effect as this as mature chronicle, but it might have. Well, it doesn't really matter. She uses the spell chronicle card to the thing like for every two spell cards activated, she banished three cards, and throughout the entire duel, she could get one card back every time there are two spell cards activated. waited so well as long as. Alright, they have more about the card, but because for the duel, she's retrieving cards, and at the end, you have like two cards: the metallic version of Geyser's Grinder Golem, and also Superposition that she wanted. Now she was planning on Geyser Golem's metal version for Jen to pick him because he wouldn't want to pick Superposition because that's what Yubel's ultimate plan is to fuse all the 12 worlds. But instead, in the final turn, Jay then uses supermanization, which surprises Yubel, but she's like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna start the scheme, because at that point she was kind of like, okay, you're not loving me back. This isn't torturing, making each other feel pain because of love. This is just making pain, giving pain to one another because of hatred. But anyways, Jaden then reveals that his actual scheme was to get her to use superimmunization so he could get superimmunization from her, or the ability from superimmunization, to fuse not her monster card, which is just her final ultimate. I think it's Yubel's ultimate nightmare card, and then his Rainbow Neos, I think was it called? But instead to fuse her soul and him, so they become together, which honestly can kind of be viewed as Jaden and Yubel getting married, because for I believe it was I think it was on one of dual analysis videos where someone pointed out how the beginning stages of this duel is kind of on the lines of a traditional Japanese wedding with the scrolls and the roses and all that. So Jaden, so you can kind of view Jaden be like, the ultimate god to be true is marriage. I mean, okay, there could be a debate to be said that actually he fused the monsters, because you also see the two monsters fusing into one, so you could say Jaden fused the monsters and took Yubel down, but I find my version about the two of them marrying each other to be a funnier way for the duel to defeat and Yubel to lose. So Yubel sees what he has done, and I guess Jen loses consciousness because of all the magic going active. And Yubel's like, "Oh, we'll be fine together. I'll get what I want to. Fine, we'll be together once more and fight against the Light of Destruction." All that, as Jaden fuses with Yubel, and in season 4, Yubel is basically his dual spirit. Although I don't think Yubel actually gets played in season 4. At least I can't remember it ever being mentioned. Maybe he does. I could see her being played during Darkness, but she isn't, at least not to my knowledge, being played. But anyways, Yubel, that's kind of the end for Yubel's villain. So yeah. So as you might have noticed, like the story, she's not really the most present of the villains, or the most like she's clearly an overarching villain, but she's not as present as you would kind of want it. And again, I would say the problem with Yubel is mainly to the fact that it kind of feels like they're going too much on Yugi references. Like, they're very clearly going for the whole ancient spirit, ruler of an ancient king civilization, and being two souls connected, all that, which I think kind of makes Yubel a little lesser. And also part of the reason why she's not amongst like the greatest. Like, you usually have Pegasus and Marax are always kind of the icons of Yu-Gi-Oh villains, while the other ones are kind of like lesser, and I think that's the reason why Yubel is kind of viewed lesser. Even though I would definitely say she's the best villain in GX with her story and the way it kind of concludes. I feel like if they tried to make Yubel more GX, it would have been better. Like, I don't think that. I mean, you could have still had her be like. I mean, I wouldn't mind her being like. I think if Yubel's origin did not like, she saw same like potential, but it wasn't a reincarnation, because like in the flashbacks we see that the Supreme King and Jen look exactly the same. It was more the aura that the Supreme King had. That was the presence, and that was just like something that she connected to with Supreme King. I think it would have been better if they like kept it more down to earth. Like, maybe she should have been more like a Shadow Rider type of opponent, because I think that would have just been better. And also, like, like if Jaden dueled her, but then when they were having a fight, and he just kind of like took her back by some other card, and then had her win the duel, I think that would have been better. Then I mean, the whole become, and then just having her become one of his ace monsters, would have been better than, let's say, just having her become the pharaoh to Jaden. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole Jade and Yugi similar storylines, but I do kind of get it because like, I mean, I kind of get the impression that from a story point of view, GX to me feels like the most like random when you look about you think about because there's a lot of like the season one stories are kind of like slice of well kind of episodic except for like like two I guess there's like two storylines that just kind of there and then you have the light of and then you also have the character side characters being handled like alright but this could be a entire GX this is not a GX video this is a Yubel video but anyways that's it for Yubel. Now, right now, some people are gonna be asking me to address the Yubel's gender thing because Yubel was a boy when she was a human, but now she is a now she's kind of like genderly based because she has like one half of her is very female, but the other half is very much male, or her chest area specifically. And I would honestly, I kind of just want to say that Yubel is like I'll just refer to Yubel as a woman because like, but one her design very much is supposed to be that. Is female. Like outside of the pack area in Japanese, like Yubel is very much female. Like, I mean, just look at the. I mean, when the only thing they changed in the 4 Kids censoring because I think 4 Kids was still doing GX during that time is the fact they gave her like just made the boob area. Honestly, the outfit they gave her just makes it look like she's wearing sports clothing. Like a sports bra and sports jeans. Well, not jeans. I think there's some clothes on there, but like that's kind of design they were kind of giving her. So I want to say female, and also they do have. I believe in the Japanese they also have her refer to a male pronoun, but characters I think refer to her as female. So it's all a mess. I don't really think it was meant to be thought of much. I think it was just like one of those things where they thought Yubel looked very cool, and hey, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we had her and Jaden being kind of together? I mean, we could even do like a cool eye thing with Jaden and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't really. So I think it wasn't really thought of much. It was just like a cool monster card that was thought would be a cool thing if they had her be connected to Jay in some way. So yeah, I don't really. I refer to her as female, but if you want to refer to her as it is her, him, you can. I would just go with that since that's kind of more the idea I'm kind of getting from her. Again, also if also Jaden and Yubel marrying together kind of goes without saying. So yeah. Then now we have to go to Yubel's abilities. So throughout the series, she's actually one of the more ability shown characters from like a Doom monsters because mostly you don't really get much, but Yubel has like brainwashing, illusions, brain control, body possession, and all like and then also like the presences of the Doom monsters and probably also summoning. Now that I think about it, I mean they are GX, but I mean she did create that dark army to use for Jaden and all. So she has a shit ton of demonic abilities. I mean it's Yu-Gi-Oh, so we never have like monsters properly beating the shit out of each other, except like, it's a couple of Jaden's monsters do that, but most of them don't really do proper beating the shit out of each other. But regardless, she has like a ton of abilities, possession. Kind of actually gives me the Lord of the Rings vibes when you think about it, about like possession. I mean, it's not one to one, but I feel like she kind of like Lord of the Rings power sets for like villains like Morgoth and so on, honestly. But yeah, yeah, no, so yeah. So yeah, I really do feel like Yubel is one of the best villains in Yu-Gi-Oh in general. I really wish she would be. Honestly, I would say she's probably like the most underrated villain in Yu-Gi-Oh because like while I think Sidora is a bit more popular than her, I feel like she should be more the face of villains in GX as well as like one of the main ones. Like if you want to put her, okay, I would put Pegasus number one, Yubel number two, Dark Sinus number three, and Marek number four, with Bakura number five. Well, actually, no, there's also Lightning. Alright, I'll watch Reigns and then I'll tell you where I would rank Lightning, but regardless, I definitely feel like Yubel should be viewed and more appreciated in the Yu-Gi-Oh community as a antagonist, and I think she's actually the support card that she got from Phantom Knight are actually really good. I hope we get an Evil Hero deck, the structure deck, with her as the ace card, because I think that would make sense, but whatever. I'll pray that OCG gives us Yubel structure so I could get her as a main card in my collection. But anyways, that's it for Yubel. For the video, I hope you liked the video. I hope you leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. Tell me what you thought of Yubel as a character, as a story. Do you think she suffers from from season 3's writing problems? And this deck, and also tell me about how you feel about her deck, or if you're playing her deck. But yeah, anyways, with that all that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.